Go, right? Okay. Do you have a...
You got your mic, Melissa?
Okay, so thank you all for coming. Just wanted to try to turn that upside down. Just by way of introduction, my name is Melissa Jones. I'm from San Antonio, Texas now, but I was born and raised in Provo. And for all of you who are curious, I am active LDS, but I am a sexologist. People wonder how I can do both, and I say, why not? Because people have sex, right? So, just so you know what a sexologist is, I am not a therapist, so I don't blame everything on your parents. Instead, I educate people about sex, which is a really, really fun job. I love it. Not very many people can go home and tell their husband, hey, guess what? My 50-year-old client had a good orgasm for the first time today. So I have a really, really fun job. I love what I do a lot, and I'm really, really lucky that I get to do what I do, and that I have a really good, supportive family. I realized this weekend, as I've been teaching these workshops, I might have really screwed up my 12-year-old son, so the verdict might be out on him, but I think I've done an okay job with my daughter. Madeline's here in the back. She's 18, and she goes to UVU, and she says she wants to do what I do and take over the family business. So she's here with me, and she helps me out, so you'll probably see her holding the microphone when we get into some technique as we talk about orgasming and stuff. So she doesn't help me in that way. That sounds really wrong, right? We are not that close as a family, I promise. That sounded kind of freaky. Anyway, she holds the microphone for me as I demonstrate on my pillow. Does that sound better? Okay. Anyway, so we're talking about orgasms for him and her tonight. So you can both go home satisfied and try something new, and I hope you learned something. Along the way, if you have questions, please raise your hand. We are having an audience watch us at home, so they may have questions too. We're going to try and answer those, as many of them as we can. Hopefully we can get to those. And this should just be a fun night. I hope you guys have a good time. Hopefully you guys won't be as stoned silent as some of the other workshops have been. If you guys are, then I really might make you get up and do like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like we're in nursery. Hopefully I won't make you do that. But I may ruin some hymns for you along the way. I'm just kidding, I won't. I can if you want, but I won't tell you which ones they are. Think about it, just think about it. Now tomorrow at church, you guys are going to be going through the hymn book wondering which ones I'm talking about, right? You're going to be texting me later. Okay, just by way of introduction. Oh, I skipped, sorry, we went ahead. I went way too far, sorry guys. Sorry, Jason. Let's start with introduction. Different types of orgasms, first of all right? When we think about orgasms, of course, there's just a good old-fashioned orgasm that every man and woman can have. There's also nocturnal orgasms. You know, we think about men, usually when we think about nocturnal orgasms, women can have them also. Women can have a good old-fashioned orgasm in her dream. Women do have them, and they can finish in their dream having an orgasm. Also, there's spontaneous orgasms. Women are more prone to spontaneous orgasms. You think of the movie When Harry Met Sally, when she's faking in the deli, if you're familiar with that movie. But women can learn to have spontaneous orgasms. Also, men can learn to have orgasms, especially men who have, women also, but you think of men more often. If they've been in car accidents or any type of accident maybe where they have had a spinal cord injury, they can be taught to have an orgasm like by their ear or different parts of their bodies so that they can still orgasm. Also, simultaneous orgasms, where couples orgasm together. This is actually not very common, and it's kind of hard to do. Planets align when this happens. But I'll have couples who come to me and say, we really want to learn how to do this. We want to learn how to orgasm together. And it's hard. It takes the right positioning. It takes knowing each other's body language. So to be able to orgasm together is a great accomplishment. It really is. It's not something that's super common to do. Statistically, it's about 17% of couples can orgasm together at the same time. So Those are just some of the types of orgasms. Also on top of that, of course, there's the G-spot orgasm for a woman, and then there's a clitoral orgasm for women, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Then, of course, for the man, there's the P-spot, the prostate orgasms. We're going to talk about that for the man tonight also. Not to leave you out, guys, okay? Unlocking the floodgates. So for women, we're going to talk a little bit about how to ejaculate or squirt as a woman and how that can be done, okay? And then the idea that it's never too late to learn something new. I have one client who was over 70 who had her very first orgasm. So women, you can always learn something new. Men, I haven't ever seen a man who's over 70 who's never orgasmed before. Haven't seen it. It may happen, but I haven't seen it yet. So, all right. Any questions on orgasm types before we go on? No? Okay. So, what's an orgasm good for? Why do we want an orgasm? Why would we be given the ability to orgasm?
Feels good.
It feels good, right? Yeah, absolutely. It's really good for us. All of the chemicals that are released are just natural, great, 100% Zoloft and Prozac. You know, they're really good for us. Really, truly. It releases oxytocin, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine. It releases all of those good chemicals. Have an orgasm every day. It's really, really good for people. For women, though, a funny thing happens. If we don't have an orgasm, it's okay. It's kind of that use it or lose it. If we don't have an orgasm every day, the next day, the next day, the next day, take it or leave it, no big deal. Guys, not so much. Guys are visual. They see their hot, sexy wife walk in the door and they're like, ooh, yeah, hey, let's run to the bedroom. Or the woman's like, you know what, I'm tired. I've had a really long day. We haven't had sex in a week, I'm good. I don't really need an orgasm, I'm all right. And the guy's thinking, but we haven't had sex in a week. I really need sex. And the woman's thinking, hey, but you know what? I'm okay, I'm good, I'm all right. So you really do have to continue having patterns of intimacy and keeping that intimacy alive. And notice I say intimacy because it doesn't always have to mean intercourse. It means being intimate with one another. It means cuddling for the woman sometimes, just being with each other, holding each other, that skin-on-skin contact, talking to one another about your deep, darkest secrets, you know, delving into each other's souls, so to speak, being with one another so that you build that bridge to intercourse. Because men, they like sex, they like intercourse, that's how they're fed. But women, a lot of times, we're good just being held. We're good just being with our partner. And then, once we get fed that way, women do like a really good orgasm, guys. We really do. We're good that way too. All right? Any questions on that before we go on? No? Okay. So just some sexy stats for you guys. When they ask women, how do you feel about how do you feel about your orgasms? How's your sex life? 54% say, hey, I'm good. That's okay. I'm good with my orgasm. Take it or leave it. 14 say, nope, don't like them. Don't like my orgasms at all. 31 are like, no, don't even, oh wait, I did it backwards. Sorry, 54% are satisfied. 54% like their orgasms. 31% are, no big deal. I can take it or leave it. 14% don't like them at all. So there's some pretty good room for improvement there, right? For women liking their orgasms. 10 to 30% of women can't even orgasm, depending on the statistic you read. They've never had an orgasm. That's really high. That's why I have a job. So those women can come to me and they can learn to orgasm. And guess what? It can happen. Every woman can orgasm. It can happen. I promise you. There's an entire arsenal on this table that helps me help women orgasm. We can make it happen. And especially with a willing partner, any woman can orgasm. I promise you it will happen. Something to keep in mind though, 75% of women need clitoral stimulation along with G-spot stimulation if you want to achieve a G-spot orgasm. You can't just go to a G-spot orgasm if you want to make that happen. You have to have clitoral stimulation to get the whole G-spot and vagina ready for that G-spot orgasm. You can't just go right for the goods It's not going to happen. You have to get that whole vagina nice and juicy and ready. All right, and this is the statistic.